start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll follow by a moment of silence.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And we'll start with the second item, which is student spotlight with Walter J. Baird Future Cities presentation.
Yes, to the board, very excited to have these young ladies here tonight. Also, their parents are hiding back there, so they need to move on up.
We're good.
I'm going to turn this over to them. So we've had several opportunities for students to showcase their talents, and I've had all of these young ladies over the years, so excited to see them here. But girls, the floor is yours.
And Miss Kim Allison, our teacher, this kind of supports that, yes. While they're getting into place, Future City is this in-depth, cross-curricular program that our kids, 7th grade extend, have been working on since September until January 15th, maybe even 16th. And it includes everything from the engineering design process to writing essays in NLA format. Oh, I'm pretty loud.
So the World Wide Web watches, and it helps if they get have to.
And I do not want to trip you as you go, let me do that. Okay, there we go. Anyway, so it involves the essays, and it also included agricultural variation models. It has included scale drawings, it has included zoning. We've had guest speakers come from various paths that have helped motivate our kids and to help them find their way. We had 7 teams in 7th grade, and 3 of those teams went to UT Knoxville, to the engineering program, engineering school, over Martin Luther King weekend. And of those 3 teams, 2 of them won awards. One team, and they're not here tonight, Ina Strodberg and Ella Moore, they came in first place for most futuristic city. And then our team here that's going to be presenting for you, oh, it's so bittersweet. They came in 2nd place, but only by half a point. And the rubrics that were for each category was so stringent that I cannot praise these girls enough. They did such an outstanding job. So I'll turn it over to them. Well, Mr. Hunter said yes.
Hello and welcome to Day City, with a population of roughly 250,000 citizens. We'll be your tour guides today. I'm Emily Sheehan.
I'm Catherine Miller. And I'm Kenley Gill. Day is spelled D-E-A-E. It is plural for D, meaning goddess in Latin, which is ideal because all 6 founders of the city are female.
Day is located in Michigan, which experiences all 4 seasons. This particular winter is especially cold.
Cold enough for ice skating?
Of course, which is one of our recreational services.
We also have parks, a rec center, commercial areas, and many more. But there are drawbacks to living in an area with 4 seasons. Why, you ask? There are many bad road conditions due to the freeze-thaw cycle. What is a freeze-thaw cycle? A freeze-thaw cycle is when water gets into cracks, it freezes, then thaws. This breaks down materials like rocks, pavement, and concrete over time and causes damage like potholes and crumbling.
The skylifts and railways provide jobs such as maintenance and upkeep. Day City also has jobs in education, agriculture, entertainment, tourism like us, and many more.
Let's circle back to the skylifts. This is the main form of transportation in the city.
The alternative is monorail, and there are sidewalks if residents choose to walk or bike instead. As you probably noticed, there are no roads in the city. Why is that, Emily?
Roads require a lot of maintenance due to the freeze-thaw cycle. Not to mention, our low-income residents wouldn't need to pay for a car insurance, or gas money.
Day City skylifts are based off of an organization called Whoosh. At Whoosh.Solutions, their statistics say there's a 75% reduction rate in energy compared to substitutes. In the city, the skylifts would have many stops to accommodate people going to many different areas.
These will also help eliminate food deserts by having easy access to public forms of transportation because they are conveniently located in residential areas.
Furthermore, it ensures that low-income families can get to their job, the grocery store, or anywhere else they need to get to without having to purchase a manual vehicle.
The skylifts and monorails create jobs instead of taking away jobs like manual cars. In public transportation, it requires someone to drive and do maintenance on it, which in turn can create more jobs.
And to reduce food waste, the skylift's main form of power is anaerobic digestion.
What is anaerobic digestion, you ask? Anaerobic digestion is a process of breaking down organic matter without the use of oxygen. I know, exciting, right?
Michigan disposes of 1.5 to 2 million tons of food waste per year. Anaerobic digestion provides an environmentally safe way of reducing food waste by turning it into nutrient-rich fertilizer and renewable biogas that lasts over 20 years.
It creates a biogas that is 50% to 75% methane, a clean energy gas that has the huge potential to reduce carbon dioxide emissions.
This solution tackles two problems at once: reducing food waste and creating a clean energy source. To get the residents to use the anaerobic digester, they're placed in neighborhoods to provide easy access.
Not only does this reduce food waste, it also breaks down all organic matter. It heats buildings, generates electricity, and powers homes.
Day City has also outlawed plastic bags and only uses food containers, cutlery, straws, etc. from a company called EvoAir. This helps with preventing food waste across the food production process because almost all food comes in some sort of plastic packaging.
All products from EvoAir are sustainable, biodegradable, and planet-friendly.
And made from plastic-free rice, honeycomb, wood, or bamboo. What about the healthcare system?
In Day City, the hospital here uses a healthcare system where the price is based on where you work and how much you make. Day City decided to use this because most people's insurance does not cover their hospital bills.
This solution will be much easier for people to get health care when they need it instead of using a temporary solution that will probably not benefit them.
Michigan has natural disasters like tornadoes and intense blizzards, which are the kind of natural disasters that you would go underground for.
Day City includes an underground bunker in case any of these natural disasters happen.
The bunker is located underneath a man-made hill, which is conveniently located under the residential areas.
In addition to these, Day City Agriculture has regenerative farming and vertical farming.
Regenerative farming is better for the land than traditional farming because in traditional farming, lands are destroyed from animals overgrazing.
In regenerative farming, it focuses on restoring and improving soil health, enhancing biodiversity, and increasing ecosystem resilience by having a plot of land split into 4 sections and the animals are put in one for a month and then switched into another to prevent overgrazing.
The solution to agriculture in Michigan's cold weather is vertical farming, which is the process of farming in vertically stacked layers, often indoors, and using controlled environment agriculture improves this process.
What about zoning?
For Day City's zoning portion, they have agriculture and industrial on the far right side of the city so it doesn't interfere with the residential areas on the left side.
Day City's municipal or government buildings are located near residential areas for easy access.
The commercial areas are in the center of the city so that residents can get to the buildings that they need to get to.
Thank you for joining us on the tour of Day City. Any questions?
Board, any questions?
When are we moving? Hey, can we get a picture with y'all?
Yes. Do you think y'all can come to their? Yes.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Great job.
Okay, it's a disco ball spinner, and we connected it to two pulleys to spin the string around These are our stylos that are very advanced.
Thank y'all.
Oh, of course. They did such a good job.
Y'all rolling it this way, they can get it.
You should have seen that. I'm sure I've seen it too.
Yeah. I'll be there.
Girls, you can roll the whole table.
Thank y'all again. All right, we are now to the presentation of the board, for School Board Appreciation Week.
Very excited about this. For our school board members, we appreciate the time, we appreciate the effort, appreciate the ear, the patience. Each of our schools, you have a goodie bag, a treasure trove of things over there that you'll get to go through. I won't make you do it right now, but I do want to get a picture. The schools have worked hard, they've all contributed different things, and let's get a picture real quick, and we appreciate all that you do.
I'm sorry, everybody, I'm tired. I came straight from a nasty shop. I'm trying to hide.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Looks great. Thank you.
Thank you, that was unnecessary, but thank y'all so much.
We appreciate y'all.
All right, next I have the approval of the agenda and any additions to the agenda.
There are no additions.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Do I have a second?
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. And then next is public comment. Do we have anybody signed up for public comment?
Yes, ma'am. We have one, Ms. Kendall Bork. If you would make your way up to the podium while you're doing that, just the items that we have to cover. Total public comment period should be no more than 15 minutes. Each speaker shall be given no more than 3 minutes to speak. The board reserves the right to terminate remarks at any time. If those comments become abusive to any individual, the board, or the director of schools, or any employee, the board has no obligation to respond at that time. At the conclusion of your remarks, the board or director of schools shall have the privilege to ask questions. Please state your name, address, and what you would like to discuss tonight.
Thank you for having me. My name is Kendall Burke. My address is 211 Old Horn Springs Road in Lebanon. Since I'm privileged enough to feel comfortable speaking here tonight, I'm here to ask 2 questions to the board. First, I want to ask how you're going to reassure and support the students who have had family members detained by ICE here in Wilson County and are fearful of themselves of being taken. Second, how will LSSD be addressing the recent 287G agreement between Wilson County Sheriff's Office and ICE that was signed 2 weeks ago today? This is relevant to the board because the SROs in our schools are from the Wilson County Sheriff's Office. SROs are more than just law enforcement, they're mentors, role models, and trusted allies, which I know you all recognize. I also can attest to that as I've seen it firsthand with my child. They're all vital to our schools and kids' safety, and I want it to stay that way for all students. And as a parent, I want to know families in our school system can trust the people who are there to keep them safe. Also, since LSD believes in, quote, parents are vital partners in their child's success, end quote, I do want to mention that every Monday for the past 5 months or more, 5 to 10 people are detained by ICE at the General Sessions Court in Wilson County when they're there for items such as a simple traffic ticket. So with almost 3,000 Hispanic children attending LSSD, there's a high probability that people who are being detained are your students' parents, grandparents, siblings, church members, and more. I say this because these students and families need support and reassurance. We cannot ignore what's happening in our own Wilson County backyard and how it's affecting our students. Because of this, I'm asking the LSSD School Board to put out an official statement regarding how they will handle these new developments in Wilson County to best support the students of all ethnicities and skin color and the families that they go home to. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, we have consent agenda, the approval of minutes from the previous board meeting from January 12th. Do I have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
I have a second.
Second that.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Okay. And then now we're down to the new business requiring action of the board. A is approval of the infrastructure funds allocation, the bus purchase.
To the board, I included in your packet, the first page is information you've seen. Second page has to do with transportation requests. As we've discussed previously, we have an older fleet, particularly 10 buses that are 78 passengers. What I would propose for the board is utilizing infrastructure funds and purchasing 5 at this time. That would be 3 90-passenger buses and 2 special education buses. 90 passenger obviously offers more seats for our riders, but it gives us a good leg up when we're replacing those buses. And transportation's been a constant discussion as we move through, and we are thankfully in good shape as far as drivers. We have some in the hopper, but as the buses age, one of the things that our district doesn't have to deal with is our routes are shorter, which means we can keep buses on the road longer. That is a blessing, but it also makes them hard to repair. So a couple of different points there, but I did think that it's a good time. Just an update you on our infrastructure funds. Thus far, we've spent or had pending about $1 million of that 4.3. So this tally will be an additional $1 million when you look at all 5 buses. I went high on the estimates. Mr. Ashley gave us a 190 range for regular ed and 217 for the SPED. The SPED buses have additional components. So those are the information that's in your packet.
How many seats are on the sped buses?
That's the question I don't have the answer to. I'm gonna say,
Let's say about 20.
yeah.
Okay, so they're smaller.
15 to 20.
Okay.
And typically there's 1 student per seat until they have to double up. It'll hold 2 wheelchairs typically.
And most of them have a lift in the back. So having extra and spare of those is important as well.
Do you have to have a CDL to drive it? You do? Okay. approve?
I make a motion we approve the bus purchase.
Have a second?
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
So next, we're down to the approval of the revision of the board policies 1.901, charter school applications, 2.804, expenses and reimbursements, 5.501, complaints and grievances. And I know these are from TSBA.
Correct.
right, that have made, some additions or changes within, is that?
Yep, that's correct. The charter schools, update on language, they've removed several sentences. What you'll notice, the takeaway is they've made it faster and easier to report to the textbook commission. That will be the guidelines on applications. For expenses and reimbursements, they are allowing sales tax reimbursement for small amounts. And then our complaints and grievances, we just needed to update personnel that's responsible for reporting.
Why would you need sales tax reimbursement? If it's,
That's a great question. Our legislature moved that forward, and what I can gather is that someone bought something for a school or a nonprofit out of their pocket, and then we're stuck with the tax. They've now made it available in small amounts to reimburse those sales tax options.
because most everything is sales tax exempt.
Correct. This will be primarily something that the teacher, which county protocols, they should have purchase order, they should do it beforehand, but there are times where things happen, and this gives us the latitude to reimburse.
And then, just to remind us, the charter school applications, those have to go under, there's a charter school that those go, they go under the local school boards would be.
Correct, yes, they would, the LEA, which would be us, they would apply. They have a window to do that application, is typically, let's say, February the 1st, and I do think that's accurate. What the changes were is that once you receive an application, the board has X number of days to report to the charter school commission. They adjusted that, there was some latitude, the boards could wait, the boards could get further information. It's cut and dry, as soon as one applies, you report. There's also a timeline for if you decline and the things that you have to turn in.
Any other questions? All right, do I have a motion to approve the revisions of the board policies for 1.901, 2.804, and 5.501?
I make a motion we approve.
Okay, do I have a second?
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And the next is approval of overnight field trip for Walter J. Berry cheerleaders to attend the competition in Osceola, Florida, County, Florida, March 11th through 16th.
Yeah, to the board, this is an annual trip for them, actually. They've been quite successful. It takes place during spring break. It's funded on their end, but because it's overnight and they will use Walter J's name, it needs board approval.
I make a motion we approve.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now we're down to item D, approval of the maintenance surplus.
Yes, last item, we have an electric personal lift, it's a Genie AWP 30S. It is not serviceable and no longer functioning. We'd like to move that along and send it to auction.
All right, do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion we approve.
All right.
Second it.
All in favor? Aye. All right, now we're down to reports and information. It will go to you, Mr. Hutto.
Thank you. To the board, just a few items tonight. Enrollment, first of all, we have 4,733 students. I discussed this with a few of you, but just an update. Year-to-date daily absence average, which I think we jinxed it today, but as of Friday, it was 4.96% was our average daily absences. Our chronically absent, and that is the term for students that, in this case, we have 108 instructional days. If you miss 11, you would fall into that chronically absent. Miss 11 for any reason. We were at 8.44, our district goal is 12%. We've had a couple of illnesses pop up today, so that might take up just a little, but hopefully it's Super Bowl Monday. That's what we're gonna go for. Historical enrollment, excited about this one. Well, it's shown how our community grows. We've talked about growth. We're now at plus 2.17% growth. We started the year right around 0.5% growth. It was pretty slow, and which was fine. That was a great place to be. Since Christmas, we've had an uptick. One of the things that we've discussed before is we've had fast growth funding previous years. I've emailed the state to see if that will retro pay, since we've now hit the 2% threshold. They said that it should, and there will be a true up at the end of the year. So stay tuned for more information if you get additional funds there. Just an update, inclement weather, we've used 5 of our 8 days. We want to save those days, so all of you that are watching TikTok with the other guy, tell him not to do that right now. We want to save those 3 extra days, hopefully, because we will have storms or other things. But if we should use the remainder of our days, just for you all, we have remote learning as an option. And then, of course, there's a waiver, the waiver request process that we can utilize if necessary. A couple things for your calendar. Kindness Week. As a district, we're partnering with Wilson County Government, Wilson County Schools. Next week's Kindness Week. We've got a variety of activities. Some of them kicked off last week with a kindness signing. Brought the whole school in, they signed a pledge. And I'm hoping for March, we're gonna bring in some of our counselors and kids and let them show off what they've done. And that is next week. Also for your calendar, Screenagers. This is the Under the Influence. It addresses vaping, drugs, and alcohol in the digital age. We have that free screening March the 24th at 6 p.m. at Capitol Theater. I sent you all the flyer for that, and we'll be posting it. It's a great opportunity for families. Now that is 12 plus, but there are door prizes and free food. So make sure you come out. Last item I have, and this is just for us to discuss prior to, is the TSBA School Volunteer Recognition. If you have individuals, I've got a couple in mind, and I'll get with each of you just to bring that. I'd like to have that for a March agenda item. We have a May due date to get that submitted, and I think we have lots of great candidates, so I'll reach out and have that on your radar. Those are all of the items I have for director's report.
Is that Screenagers the same maybe they did last year? It's very interesting. It's a very good.
It's a good program.
Yeah. Alright. And then now we've got revenue expenditure summary.
To the board, just put a fresh copy. This is February the 9th. The trustee has till February the 10th to provide our collection. We did not have a collection, so those zeros, it doesn't mean we didn't get any money, we just have not gotten this much check yet. But you can see on expenditures, we're in a great place for this part of the year. As soon as the check comes in, we'll get you an updated current, so we can see what our local option and our sales tax came in.
We're all waiting to see what In and Out did, right?
Exactly. We are.
Alright, and next we have teaching and learning presentation, the instructional technology.
Yeah, excited. We've got some folks from our instructional technology. We've talked about this before, and we have a variety of tools that our students use, and we really like to live on that term tools. It's not a one-size-fits-all, and we want it to enhance what our teachers are doing. So we've got some of our gurus of instructional technology here. They're gonna, go for it. Thanks.
And we're excited to share that today, because that is a big part of our budget when we think about instructionally and what we're using and the resources we can provide our teachers. But key, and I know they'll reiterate this, but our teachers are the most important person in the room. Technology is a tool, and that is all we use it for, is a tool. And so hopefully our students are not on the computer a lot. You'll see in classrooms, they'll 45 the screen. They may be working in a textbook and a computer at the same time, but it is a resource that's necessary because we want to stay up to date with what's going on in our world too. Our children need to understand technology and how to use it appropriately. So these two are, like he said, the gurus. They're going to share with you the items that we do purchase through the instructional budget for software, resources, and a little bit of how it's used and how we monitor it as well.
I'm gonna put a few slides up.
so much. I'm Joshua Brown, Instructional Coordinator. This is Anita Gray, Instructional Technologist. And what we're going to do is just give you a quick overview of what it looks like from a student experience, what we have available for our students to work through, students and teachers, and a little bit of the purpose behind that. So I want to start off with this view. It's a clever portal. So anytime a student logs onto a Chromebook from pre-K all the way up to 8th grade, everything comes to this one spot, this portal that allows our students to be able to have access to different programs, and many of them will be in a single sign-on. What that means is it's just a kid can click on one thing and it already knows who they are because of the clever sync, and it goes right in. So you don't have to have separate logins for the different applications that they will be using. In this example, this is my daughter. She's in 5th grade, and you can see at the top we have teacher pages. So inside of this portal, teachers have their own specific links and resources if they're using things in that classroom, and they want specific items for students to have quick access to. And we have categories like Let's Work and different applications that the students will use there. Online textbooks, we have practice, different practice components. Now, there's a lot that you see here, and it's not that students use all of these, but the clever portal, it allows them to be able to see specific applications that might be valid for them if should the teacher choose to use that. And then different things around reading, literacy, collaboration, and creation. So a variety of different components from as far as the topics. And then in your handout, you'll see that we have different categories. We provide this to our schools and our administrators each year just to know what do we have access to in the district. The first one at the top being universal screeners, and that fulfills a state requirement, but it also gives us valuable information about where students are from a national comparison of their peers. And so we have different programs. We have for math, we use iReady for that. In ELA, we use Dibbles in our lower grades, 4th and 5th, iReady up to 8th grade. And then we do have AIMSweb that's just for 3rd grade. That's very specific for that state purpose using that promotion law. So screeners are going to be that 3 times a year, that snapshot that says where is this child, where are they in relation to their peers at that same age and grade across the country. And we have online textbooks. This doesn't mean that our students are all on devices. This just means that we have an option for students. And I'll give you an example. So my daughter, when she tells me about something she's struggling with in math, if she didn't bring didn't have the book at home, then she can get on Clever from home. We can go to McGraw-Hill, and she can pull it up, and we can see, and we can talk about it together. So that's just one of the ways that online textbooks really come in handy. Some teachers use online textbook components more than others. Some like just the print. Some like a hybrid between the two. Some lean toward heavy on that experience in the classroom. The example of the heavy might be your 6 through 8 Amplify ELA curriculum, because the teacher guides the students through as they're working within that particular lesson. And so it's guided by the teacher and directed while students are on their Chromebooks. We have interventions and enrichments. So these are different specific tools that help students in different scenarios. I'll give you an example again for my daughter. So let's say I'll use the math. So she's in the 5th grade classroom, but she needs some help working on 4th grade skills because she has some catching up to do. So iReady Math Pathway meets her at that level that she's working. So even though she's sitting in a 5th grade classroom, it meets her at that 4th grade level and is helping her to grow through lesson-based approach. And then on the math, I'll stay on that side. Down you have McGraw-Hill Alex. She's in 5th grade and she needs to practice 5th grade standards. So yes, she needs to work at that 4th grade level and come up, but she also needs to practice those 5th grade standards in that digital environment. And then that's where that Alex would come into play for her. To be very specific to see where she's functioning on those 5th grade standards, to get practice in that, and to quickly be able to say, is she mastering those standards? If not, let's get some help in there. Let's do some remediation. Let's get some more practice. So in interventions and enrichments depending upon the grade and subject that our students need. Communication, I'm really excited this year. We've moved to Seesaw for everyone. It's really made life a lot simpler for our communications out to our families. So we have one platform, and I think that's been beautiful with language translation. So teachers are communicating to students as well as to families. And so it's been a great tool for us, and as far as language, all the different language supports, and that one place to be able to have information going out to our families and to our students, if the students are logging in. And that's usually around 4th and 5th and up is where students will be able to see what the teacher is messaging them about different things that they be taken care of, work assignments, things like that, upcoming notices. And then we have a variety of other tools that are specific, like Google Classroom. You've probably heard of that one, that learning management. That's how a lot of our middle school or upper grades teachers are assigning work to our students. We have things like Accelerated Reader, which is that motivation, that reading practice. Just a variety of different components for support. Like that Read Write for Google provides a lot of support features for our students, like text to speech, language translation, just lots of different pieces that can help support, like in a Google Doc environment, and give, just give those scaffolds where students need it. I want to give you just a couple pictures here. I really like this one on that far left because it's a really good example of what you might see in a middle school ELA classroom, where the student has the book in their hand and they're reading through the book, and sometimes they're reading just the book together, but sometimes they're going to have a lesson that the teacher's moving them through on that Chromebook. So that's a very common view sometimes, where you'll have the book in hand, you'll have the Chromebook that's leading through the activities to get that deeper thinking, to get that engagement piece, to be able to see, is the student really understanding and comprehending, and engage that child with the material that they're working through. And then you'll see things like this, where it is just in the print version of that textbook, and they're working through different activities. The teacher might have some questions on the board, and they're working through without any device. And it's very common just to have in a collaborative environment like this, where the Chromebooks are closed and stored underneath the desk. So again, the main key here is it's a tool. Our technology, they are tools, and our software programs are tools that are used by teachers at different points in time to meet the learning objectives that they have for that particular moment. And then just as a last one I have, we do have ViewSonic panels, interactive touch panels. So this would be just a couple different scenarios here, where on the left, a class this is probably the start of a lesson, and it looks like they're about to pull up in an activity, and in this one, the students could come up and interact with the board. So from a touch, from a pen perspective, they can move, manipulate, have a chance to be able to interact with that technology, as well as the teacher. You can see the one on the right that's doing it looks like some annotation on top. So there she has an activity, I think, coming out of the math curriculum, hard to see, and she is writing on top. So part of that instructional opportunity, she is writing and annotating on top and giving students more information and more clarity on what is being asked by using the technology that we have. So I know that was fast. I know that's a lot, but we have a lot of great tools, and our job is to support teachers anywhere between the initial role. We look and we find what's the best out there, what do we need. We vet different programs to make sure it's safe, that it's compliant, that it meets all the requirements for student privacy as well as educational rigor. And then from the implementation side, we help teachers out in the classrooms to do professional development, whatever we need to provide them resources, and a lot of the technical support. So when something doesn't work, we're the liaisons to get on hold with the company and make sure everything gets resolved, and it's just the whole full circle. So
Who trains our teachers?
Anita.
right here.
Yeah, and Joshua, but I wanted to mention that too, because she's really done a phenomenal job of going into the classrooms and working with the teachers, showing them how to use the programs, and then working with our new teachers. Anita started a cohort meeting with them, and then the new teachers come in and they actually log into these programs. Now that they have data, now that we have stuff coming back, let's do it together. So that's been very popular, and that was something we saw through the new teacher surveys they needed support with. So Anita's been doing that all year, and that's really been helpful for our new people coming in.
Do you have any questions for us?
Chalkboard's coming. Whiteboard is now kind of obsolete.
It's lovely. But our teachers that have the ViewSonic, they want to keep the screens as well because they still like having both pieces. But those ViewSonic panels act like a whiteboard, so
Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
They do not.
Thank you, guys. I sat down at length, looking through all this, just so I kind of can understand too, and it is a lot to understand. All right. Next is announcements. The next board meeting is March 16th at Sam Houston Elementary. at
Correct,
6
it will
p.m.
be in the gym, and of course, that's pushed a week because the second Tuesday falls on spring break. But March 16, and we'll be in the gym